Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Ola. Welcome to SharpEdgeNews.com. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We drop tons of videos all around the week, trendy stories around the world, important news. We try to keep you up to date with what's going on from America to Africa. So welcome back. Again, please do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. All right, folks, brace yourself because it's time to welcome the man who wears two very impressive hats. One as the publisher and editor-in-chief of SharpEdgeNews.com and the other as a high chief, yes, high chief from Obasa, Akure North Local Government Area, Ondo State, Nigeria. Yes, you heard that right. Without any further ado, High Chief Odokweto of Obasa is always ahead, always a sharp edge ahead. Give it up for the legend, High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Ola. And hello to our viewers all over the world. Thank you for allowing us, not by way of invasion, but still same, allowing us to the privacy of your homes, offices, your devices, wherever you are. It's good to be back with you this prime time, United States of America, and early morning, Nigeria and Africa. We do not take it for granted that you are always part of what we do here, and you continue to support what we do. That said, just understand that we appreciate all your guests. Thank you indeed.
Awesome, great. Thank you, sir. So, welcome everybody. So we do have a good show lined up for you today. We have some news around the world, like we said. But we're going to first of all touch base with the High Chief on some of the specials. Some news coming out of Osun State today, even involving Governor Ademola, I think, Ademola Adeleke, and even involving his nephew, the very popular Afrobeat artist, Davido. Some people got very angry with me last week because of the comment I made about Two-Face. I was misinterpreted, but I'll let it slide. But if you can please share with us what's going on in Osun State and some other special you might have for us from SharpEdgeNews.com today.
Oh, thank you very much, Ola. To our folks all over the world, it's sad. And I do not mean to really launch out on a sad note, but it is what it is. What we are witnessing in Osun State, state of the living spring, southwest Nigeria, calls for worry. And in a sister state, same southwest, Lagos State, Nigeria, something similar to that, but in a way, not related, is happening. But everything is being linked to the issue of abuse of office and power mongering and influence peddling. And I would break it down for you. What is being suspected here is that the immediate past governor of Osun State, Mr. Boyega Oyetola, who currently serves in the administration of his uncle, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria. He serves as Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. He is supposed to be manning a strategic sector of the Nigerian economy that will deal with not just resources on the seas, inland waterways, and all whatnot, but there seems to be a psychological fixation about the fact that he was the immediate past governor of Osun State, and he was unseated in a landslide. Even his first victory was highly contestable because there were some tricks that were played that aroused the suspicion of everybody that the ruling party in Nigeria, All Progressives Congress, APC, was into some antics that would border on crudity and power grab, consolidation, so to say, of the presidency they captured in 2015-2016 cycle of presidential election in Nigeria. And from what we now know, some international conspiracies about how that victory was secured then is unfolding before our very eyes. The connivance of some superpowers, particularly United States of America, the vested interest of the then presidency in the United States under Barack Obama. But to the present situation, Gboyega Oyetola seems to want to be interested in bifurcation of authorities and force when it comes to the administration of Osun State, Nigeria. And the governor, the sitting governor of that state, Mr. Jackson Ademola Adeleke, raised an alarm Sunday night. And then he said individuals that had been removed as local government MSmen, chairmen, were being through some questionable court rulings, being pardoned to come back into office. And then he accused the security chiefs in that state, namely the commissioner of police, the director of DSS, and so on and so forth, including the all-important head of, the commandant, the state commandant of civil defense and security outfit there. He accused all of them that they were working in cahoots with Mr. Gboyega Oyetola to make sure that these individuals who had been delegitimized as local government chairman were smuggled back into office, and that they were touting the fact of their connection to the Nigerian presidency and security forces all over the place to want to unleash a regime, a reign of lawlessness, pure anarchy on the state this Monday. And somebody would think that that would be enough to dissuade or discourage the individuals that had been fingered to be interested in causing this kind of unrest in the state. But what I was saying exactly, from the 1960s or late 1950s, Western Nigeria had attracted the notoriety of being described as the wild, wild West. And somebody would think such a thing would be in our past, consigned completely to history. Not repeat, but history has a way of repeating itself. Whether First Republic Nigeria, 1960 to 1966, Second Republic Nigeria, 1979 to 1983, the cycle of politics, the interregnum under IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the different experimentations, and then under Obasa, up to date, Osun State, indeed, the entire Southwest Nigeria, and in other places like Rivers State, Lagos State, name it, Adamawa, circus, political circus, laughable, ludicrous, and ridiculous brinkmanship. That is what we find. And so, unfortunately today, certain young Nigerians went down. So sad. We mourn them, but could we say this was avoidable? Yes, indeed. Would anybody want to reign Gboyega Oyetola? Would anybody want to, draw him by the ears and let him know that life in itself is nothing to just hold on to like that? If this happens, you take your turn, others will come and take their turn. But no, it's almost like a sworn situation that he and Jackson Ademola Adeleke would have to make it a war of, call it survival of the fittest. They're taking the people of Southwest Nigeria, people who are often celebrated as the most urbane and cosmopolitan amongst the black race. It's like they're dragging back that tribe, that race. And it's so sad, it's unfortunate. We move from there to other situations around Nigeria. And this is causing a blight on the administration that currently runs the country. So whether you are looking at modern democracy, whether you are looking at whatever is connected with that in Nigeria, look at Ifon in Ondo State, for example. Something that played out there on Friday, the day that was meant for celebration of love. So some people will say agape love. Some people will talk of filial love. Whatever kind of love, everybody was supposed to get along. But on some street there, some youths disagreed with themselves, and then it ended up in somebody walking up to the place and then handing over two youths to the police. And then the police decided to be partisan. The police decided to take sides. So a case of torture, according to the Hope newspaper, the regional newspaper in Ondo State, the police decided to take sides, and then a situation of torture was alleged, during which one of those, the two youths that were initially put in police station, what's it called, in police detention, one of them died under such a worrisome circumstance. And then the following day, the police has its own version now, almost trying to numb everybody into negative mental health situation. Their spin has come, blaming the dead, and their families are now saying, they will be apprehended because the police station there was touched. Why is Nigeria becoming that, a place of that kind of avoidable carnage? And we know why. That is blowing in the wind, and we're getting some answers to it. The culture of impunity. Somebody runs the show today, and they think that is the end of the world. And this is something that is worrisome about politicians of left leaning. Whether you're taking it from 1917 Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, where where workers decided to stage a revolution because of a crisis of bread. Look at what Joseph Stalin turned that country into. Runaway dictatorship, totalitarianism, and the government in Nigeria brags to be left of the leaning. Whether you look at Robert Mugabe, whether you look at all kinds of countries in Africa who say they embrace the leftist idea. Yes, I used to be of that conviction, but now I look at it that no, what people need is really good governance, and you don't push it on people's face that, oh, you have grabbed power, nobody can question you. You must be held accountable, and that is why there is so much bloodshed right now in Nigeria. So whether it is in Lagos, Ondo State, Osun State, wherever, I think what everybody wants now is to take some 10 seconds pause and ask, is this the way we want to go, or we want some better deal? Our report. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, thank you for that special report. Did you want me to cover the Davido part, or just leave that? Let's just leave him alone.
Yes. Let me talk briefly about the Davido angle to it.
So let me read his statement so we can know what we're talking about, right?
Thank you.
So Davido, first of all, came out and he made some very wild statement against the commissioner of police in Osun State. But then he since retracted it. Basically what he said, the gist of what he said is that if you think you are mad, we are madder. If you think you are crazy, we are crazier. That's the cleanest of everything he said. He was saying some really vulgar things. But maybe an hour or two later, he came out and then released a statement, and this is what the statement said. He said, "My take on Osun, Commissioner of Police, Nigerian Police Force, and forthcoming local government elections. Further review of political development in Osun State revealed more facts, which include several genuine efforts of the state security agencies, including the State Commissioner of Police. The bloodshed of today infuriated me so much that I heaped all the blame on the Commissioner of Police. I now see that the issue is more than that of the Commissioner of Police or other security chiefs. The needless killings of today angered me so deeply that I thought such should have been nipped in the bud. Yet, I can see that the security agencies led by the Commissioner of Police put in their best and deserve commendation. The memories of the innocent souls lost, human emotions overwhelmed me and many of my friends around. We did not know the Commissioner of Police had been having sleepless nights alongside other commanders. At this point, the contributions of the police commissioner were not fully appreciated by me. This is a grave oversight, and I want to declare that his support for rule of law and protection of peace in Osun State is hereby acknowledged and appreciated. In memory of the dead and the injured, I urge the security agencies, including the Commissioner of Police, to redouble their efforts to sustain peace. We must allow rule of law to prevail. We must also work to ensure that the local government election scheduled for Saturday, February 22nd is held peacefully. Achieving this will be a crowning glory not just for the politicians, but for security chiefs, including the Osun State Commissioner of Police. I wish the Commissioner of Police and other security commanders the best of luck as they address challenges of the moment. Signed, Mr. David Adeleke. Thoughts? Over to you, sir.
Brilliant and well scripted. Brilliant. And I hope is that is what he wrote. But let me say this briefly. Truth of the matter is that Davido's uncle is the sitting governor of Osun State. Yes. But making it like it is a family show. The person that was, as at the last time I checked, the person that was elected into office was Mr. Jackson Ademola Adeleke. Period. Davido should realize that he is a cultural icon, not just for his generation, but for Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Now, he should leave Adeleke to the business of governance. That is, his uncle should be left to the business of governance. He should mind his productions and his shows all over the world and his labels. That is that. But honestly, as somebody who came from a family that had suffered gruesome losses in terms of human and material resources in Nigeria before, I'm talking specifically of August 16, 1983. You yourself, you knew the kind of anguish that we were thrown into, especially my mother's side of the Abitogun's, the extended Abitogun family. I mean the fact by me base. It was never a palatable, it was never a positive thing. Even till today, the trauma is there. So when people are cut down in their prime, the way it happened today in Osun State, this reaction, the feeling cannot be different from what people felt during the Operation Wete years, during the Penkelemes years in Ibadan, during the 1983 uprising in Ondo State, and all kinds that we have been witnessing, whether in Ogoni land, wherever we have been witnessing all kinds of violence in Nigeria, including in the Northeast. So what I'm saying is that, yes, if somebody decided to foist an attitude of impunity on the people of Osun State and felt that nothing would happen as a result, I think that was what Davido was speaking to initially. And whoever wants to get angry about that, are they saying Davido is not a Nigerian? We all are Nigerians. And when somebody loses in an election cycle, please be calm. Tomorrow will come. it could be your turn again. So to want to force things through, particularly the local government election thing in Osun State, Oyetola was suspected of already elections that he did not hold in all the years that APC leadership was in Osun State. He started packaging things and then even desecrating the institution of Obasa. Things were already arranged and then he decided to put his party loyalists there. Truth must be told. Is that the standard we really want, or we want Nigeria's constitution to work for all of us? So sorry, Mr. Commissioner of Police in Osun State, Davido has apologized to you, and I think that should suffice. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So again, let's hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. We do have some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Shock claim. USAID funded Boko Haram. US lawmaker speaks. So a few days ago, I'm just going to do a quick narration of what I saw during the weekend that was trendy. Well, what was trending during the weekend was USAID, Boko Haram, Barack Obama. All those things were trendy at the same time, and to be honest with you, I was shocked. Sorry, I'm in New York City if you hear sirens.
It's all right.
I was shocked. You know, the guy, US Congressman Scott Perry, and I quote, this is according to
from
News
Pennsylvania,
Central,
from the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So, and I quote, he has claimed that the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, has provided funding to terrorist groups, including Boko Haram. Perry, a Republican from Pennsylvania, made this allegation during the first meeting of the subcommittee on delivering on government efficiency on Thursday, according to Punch. And I quote, "Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? Because your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds in madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram." And there was more, like ISIS, terrorist groups around the world. But of course, Nigerian people got stuck on the Boko Haram part. Not only that, they dug in deeper. They went straight to Obama. Not only that, very dark man was involved. Start questioning Tinubu. How did you get rid of Jonathan? Anyway, I thought that was interesting. But I understood personally, now I'm speaking for me, so I want to throw it to you now, sir, right? I understood personally how the general public can just take that kind of news and say, hey, so what's up, Barack Obama? So I decided to do a short video which wasn't received well by some people. But I wanted to hear your take on it. I know you'll find a very good balance in this conversation. How did Barack Obama sponsor Boko Haram? Please help us.
Yeah, I can speak to the tacit support of the administration of former President Barack Obama for General Muhammadu Buhari, as he then was before becoming President Muhammadu Buhari. I can speak to that a little. But so many things are not yet declassified, so we need to proceed with caution. Number two is the fact that I cannot speak directly to that fact that the United States government, through USAID, provided funding for Boko Haram. Yes, he mentioned the madrasas. What do we know as the madrasas? That is Islamic schools, the ones that they call Almanjiri thing in northern Nigeria. So And you know the culture in America, long before you and I were born, and in my university years too, I was a strong patron for the United States Library Services in Lagos, Ibadan, Kaduna. So America identifies specific things to be done, and then they put their money into it in order to protect their interests all over the world. And foremost, chief among the interests of America is the spread of democracy, representative government, as we know. I am not their agent. I cannot speak to that. But I know that they, through USAID, have provided funds, not just for this one that they are now outing funds for madrasa education. I don't know of that of Boko Haram. I don't know of that of ISIS. To me, it would be the height of moral hypocrisy to be fighting ISIS and then still find some backdoor channels of providing resources for them. That in itself looks to me like some fantastic lie told or unleashed from the pit of hell. And you know the elements we are dealing with. They have to shun out things because now they are running into bumps. They are running into barricades, running into barriers on the kind of agenda they have for us in the United States. And so to fight back, why would there not be some smear campaign? So let us attempt an anatomy of this smear. Let us attempt an anatomy of this smear because to me, yes, I said I can speak a little to the fact that the administration of Obama gave some tacit approval to the coming of Buhari into government. And you are a first-hand witness to how close I was to the late Nigerian ambassador to the United States, the late Professor Adefuye. And because of not just me, a lot of us journalists in the diaspora who live in the United States were close to him. Not as anybody, not as individuals that were interested in whatever was happening within deep state, but as Nigerians who were genuinely concerned about our place in global politics and then making sure we report copiously whatever deal Nigeria was involved in. For example, during that time when some questionable and fraudulent lawyer, who I do not want to mention her because that is in the past, sold Nigeria House. This person was a personal lawyer to a particular Nigerian head of state, military head of state, but he transmogrified without an official contract himself to the lawyer for Nigeria. And then in that circumstance, he started reaping, what do you call it? Among us, benefits from the sale of Nigerian properties in Washington, D.C. Our media outlet, SharpEdge News, with others, provided copious reports and exposed him. I think eventually he even went to court against Omoyele Sowore, and Omoyele Sowore was able to trans him in court. And eventually he was disbarred from practice as a lawyer in the state of Washington, in the state of Maryland and Washington, D.C. Now, I'm just providing that background to let you know the closeness. And I was aware that when the then Secretary of State in the United States, Hillary Clinton, visited Nigeria when Gbenga Ashiru was the Foreign Affairs Minister during the administration of Jonathan, there were specific instructions as taught to me by late Ambassador Ade Adefuye that Hillary Clinton could meet only with limited number of officials in Nigeria. Even Gbenga Ashiru, as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, was not allowed to see her off. She didn't want to be in his company. It was Ade Adefuye, as the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, that saw Mrs. Hillary Clinton off at the airport. It was that bad that the administration of Jonathan had been marked down as an administration that must go. And let me also tell you, I don't want to go into too much details because of the sensitivity of what we are talking about here. I do not believe the sponsorship for Boko Haram thing, but I believe the aspect of the tacit support that Jonathan had to go, which some of us felt was not fair. That kind of intervention and what do you call it? That kind of intrusion was uncalled for. Nigerians should have been allowed to take care of their situations. Now, the other aspect I was talking of has to do with the fact that during the Obama years and during Jonathan years, some elements in the opposition visited the White House. I was not taken aback when a particular individual who later became a loquacious minister in the administration of Buhari started bragging in the van or bus that took journalists to White House, Nigerian journalists, by the way, to White House that day, when he was bragging to people there that they did not have money, but they would tell huge lies that would sweep Jonathan away, that would destroy him. That person knows himself. I do not need to go into too much details, but these things happened. And I've listened to Professor Bolaji Akinyemi this morning on Arise Television. He struck the heart of the matter. And as somebody who has operated at the highest level as Nigeria's foreign affairs minister, we must listen to individuals like this to know where the shoe pinches, why Nigeria is the way it is. What are the interests that these people are after that will make them want to, Nnamdi Azikiwe spoke about it. Saying, in this, I did not even know until I went to interview the then Director General of Voice of Nigeria, now our Baba, Mr. Taiwo Alimi. I went to interview him for the newspaper where I used to work in Nigeria. And he told me of the manifest destiny of Nigeria that was espoused by the Owele Phoenicia, Zik of Africa himself, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. And you have that replicated in the way people will want to rise for Africa to be able to stand for itself, and then through various orchestrations and shenanigans and rigmaroles and conceits and mendacity, all these people will be brought down in their prime. Talk of Muritala Mohammed, Kwame Nkrumah, and so on and so forth, Thomas Sankara. You talk of Patrice Lumumba, the war that has become so intractable in Central African Republic and the Congo till today. Did not just start today. The eve of departure of a colonialist in Africa, these seeds of a discord and suspicion were sown. But we know those who started Boko Haram, they have been active participants in this, in successive administrations in Nigeria. You have heard the story of how they started as Ecomog boys, how they transmutated into what they are today, a killer machine, connected with all kinds of terrorist organizations, networks all over the world. So would it be a surprise to now see that an administration that is running amok in America want to shift the blame so that we can be divided amongst us in Nigeria? Whoever is going to believe their tall tales should proceed with caution. You should be mindful of what they are capable of doing, because the kind of state capture we are witnessing in the United States today is unprecedented. That implosion within the system is what they would do anything to cover in their track, and then they would look for blames where they should not turn their searchlight. But let us just be careful. That is all I have got to say about that.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better. You said one word: network.
Yes.
Network. Obviously, any money that's being spent anywhere as aid will flow to different corners of the world to fund different things that were not necessarily intended, intentionally, unintentionally, and everything in between. So you said it all. We need to be careful. And these people are they will send those statements out there like the Scott Perrys of the world.
Yes.
And you have no idea where they're coming from. If you're not educated, please, by all means, just relax.
Yeah, if you are not educated and you have not been actively involved, whether as a politician, as a military man, as a religious leader, and all kinds. You know, there are crisis merchants everywhere. They benefit. I did not even know this until I sat down in my university years to read the book. It was, I mean, it's a work of fiction, but so reflective of the truth of the Nigerian Civil War, authored by the late Dr. Festus Iyayi. The book title is Heroes. Anybody can look for it and read through that. When you have a war situation, all these people, whether chief imam, bishop, all kinds
Whatever,
of
it doesn't
demagogues, war generals, all kinds, student union leaders, they benefit, and the poor people suffer.
Of course.
As a result of it.
So let's not incite people in the name of you're suddenly surprised. Calm
That's
down.
right. And I mean, there is a particular individual in Nigeria there today, shamelessly got a contract at the level at which he operated as a minister in Nigeria. Why would he want to take a contract in the name of fighting fake news? And what is that? Something so nebulous and amorphous, something that is so colorless. Fighting fake news against who? This is how you identify their agents now.
Yeah.
And then they will turn around and tell you that, oh, it is this person, it is that person. But Jonathan, I know, was given a raw deal. And that is not fair. And life in itself is not even totally fair.
Life is not fair, period.
We move on.
Love and war, all is fair.
That's right.
All right. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. We want you to join the conversation. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Without any further ado, we do have some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. All right, Trump's big offer to Putin. What's behind it? I'm going to read this short excerpt from a CNN article today. Says Vladimir Putin is riding high ahead of critical U.S.-Russia talks Tuesday in Saudi Arabia on ending the Ukraine war. If you don't know who Vladimir Putin is the head of Russia. Let's just call it that. And of course,
the Russian strongman and the president.
Yes. And then we have the United States President Donald Trump's administration has ended the Russian president's international isolation, shattered Western unity on the conflict, and cast doubt on how far the U.S. would go to defend Europe, signaling a stunning shift toward Putin and away from America's traditional allies. With a flurry of conflicting statements in their first forays into Europe, Trump aides also fueled concerns that the U.S. president will embrace just about any deal with Putin, even if it's a bad one for Ukraine and a continent whose borders are again threatened by Russian expansionism. I'm going to leave it at that. What is the threat here? Why was this trending today? I'm sure you can tell us more.
Well, why it is trending is because it almost looks like Vladimir Putin is getting everything he wants, while the leader of Ukraine is not really being carried along. And you listen to what the Ukrainian leader told European leaders this past weekend, that that is not going to be part of whatever he wants to be seated at the desk whenever the destiny of his country, that is Ukraine, is being discussed. And so to want to have this micromanaged meeting and negotiations with Vladimir Putin over the people he has violated by way of territorial aggression in the last 3 years. We are approaching the 3rd anniversary of the war. So he said it's not going to work. And he is even calling for Europe in reaction to the way Donald Trump is trying to dismantle NATO, is calling for Europe to come up with an appropriate response. A military organization, a united front in Europe, so that they can contain a pushback on the whatever on the agenda that is not clear, the opaque agenda of Russia in days to come. That said, what is it that makes? You remember during the presidential debate, first in 2016, this is Hillary Clinton said Donald Trump would not be able to stand up to Vladimir Putin. That is fast becoming, that kind of a prophetic utterance is fast becoming a reality. The last time during this is the last cycle of a presidential election in the United States, the same thing was suspected about Donald Trump. And you see the way they have gone after people who brought charges against him concerning how classified documents, excuse me, were taken to Mar-a-Lago and all that. What's behind all that? See, we do not have, we must follow facts as journalists. We must go after the facts. The facts may not be too obvious, but we can also make our own, what's it called now? We can make deductions and draw conclusions, not without reason or justification at this point. Why is it, and that question must be thrown back at them, that is at Donald Trump and his team, his foreign affairs team particularly. Why is it that they will give Vladimir Putin everything he wants in utter violation of established traditions in America? This is a man who has murdered political opponents. This is a man who has killed journalists. This is a man who, the only excuse you need to be taken in is Russia, is to be traveling through that country as an American today. And then you'll be arrested, trumped up charges will be brought against you, and you can spend endless time in the gulag. You can be sent to Siberia, wherever in that country. So for somebody who is grossly violating all established norms and conventions this way, why is America kissing up to him? Why is Donald Trump doing this? So that question will be, will best be answered by Donald Trump himself and his team. His vice president, when JB, whatever, went there last week, went to Europe last week. No concrete result through such a shuttle diplomacy. Donald Trump is gone to Saudi ahead of this negotiation with Vladimir Putin. What do we expect to get out of it? But all said and done, I do not know how long Ukraine can survive without the strategic support and aid and funding from the United States Congress. It has to be the United States Congress now as against what Donald Trump wants. That way, the alliance, the critical alliance of America with liberated Europe, with Europe that is sold through and through to the dream of democracy, can endure. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Please join the conversation. Thank you. I want to say Thank you for everybody that's watching. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Help us get to 1,000 followers on Facebook. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. How? Simply hit the like button, share, subscribe, share it to your circle of influence on WhatsApp, everywhere. Let them know that we're having this conversation, and we're actually asking that you join the conversation in the comment area as well. Thank you. Thank you. We have another story, another trendy story around the world. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about Obasa, Honorable Obasa, who was the speaker of I think it was the lead speaker. I'm not sure.
Right, Honorable Mudashiru Obasa
from Lagos State House of Assembly.
Yes.
Yes. So there's a report here that I'm going to read really quickly. I know you've been following this story, but I'm just going to read this short excerpt from PM News Nigeria. It says, heavy security presence at Lagos Assembly as ex-speaker Obasa plans come back. By a Paul Dada, there is a heavy presence of men of the DSS, Department of State Security, and the Nigerian police around and within the premises of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Alausa, Ikeja, on Monday. Armed security personnel were said to have been on ground since 10 a.m. The current speaker, Mojisola Miranda, is said to have arrived with our convoy at about 11:15 a.m., although the House could not sit given the situation. But PM News learned that the lawmakers were seen holding discussions somewhere within the premises. The security situation is believed to be connected with the alleged plan by the embattled former speaker Mudashiru Obasa to storm the House. Obasa, who was removed Obasa by 36 of the lawmakers on January 13, 2025, has always insisted that the action was illegal. He has gone further to file an urgent suit at the Ikeja Division of the Lagos State High Court, filed on February 12, 2025. Obasa, through his lawyer, Chief Afolabi Fashanu SAN, Obasa is calling for a swift ruling, asking the court to fast-track proceedings and compel the defendants to respond within 7 days. Obasa in the suit argues that his removal on January 13, 2025 by 36 lawmakers violated the 1999 Constitution as amended and the Assembly's own standing orders. He says that no sitting should have taken place without the Speaker's formal convening of the House. I have a very simple question for you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Who is delusional, Miranda, Miss Miranda, or Mr. Obasa?
I think it will be, the answer is simple, straight, and unambiguous. The person that has been delusional here is Obasa.
Okay.
Simple. Yes.
Why?
Because the majority of his colleague lawmakers are saying they don't want him no more, and they have their grants. They did not even speak of impeachment. They're talking of a removal. They were cautious in the use of language and and deliberate in the actions they took. So to now have had certain individuals in Lagos today saying that if this is going to require the shedding of their blood, if they are going to be martyred to protect the hard-won democracy in Lagos State, that it will happen and that they would not budge. But, it could be political speak. You never can trust any politician. But if push comes to shove, it looks like something is tearing apart It looks like the political roof in Lagos State is crashing on the entire house of cards. So, yeah, simply addressing your question, Obasa is being delusional. Because
now
what is being suspected here is that, according to some lawmakers in Lagos State today, what they are suspecting is that he is being goaded on and being recklessly encouraged by the First Lady of Nigeria, former Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and the administration in Nigeria has plays his card in a way that is so similar to that of the United States of America. Number one, the first family operates in locksteps. You don't easily find them retracing their steps from any mistake. They don't walk back anything, and easily you can see them digging in and maintaining the same position. That would not be different from what we used to witness under. Yeah, she's not talking. She's not addressing the fact that she is the one that is encouraging the situation in Lagos State. And the question will be asked: what is the need for her? What is the need for the First Lady of Nigeria? The Mrs. Lady Mojisola Miranda is a woman, and Mrs. What's it called? Mrs. Tinubu should have counted herself lucky to want to support a fellow woman. But you know, as is often said, ara ile onikaluku ni ọ̀tá rẹ̀. One's enemy cannot be found elsewhere other than within the house, within a household. And so, women, like I've analyzed on this platform before, most times are their own worst enemies, whether by their own action, self-inflicted action, or the way they often gang up against themselves. You want a woman to evolve today as the this is not even hypothetical anymore. You know, from Dr. Sarah Jibril, all kinds of women that have risen in Nigeria to provide alternative, leadership to the men. How woeful their performances have been. Women do not vote for themselves. And so it would not be a surprise to see Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu coming out so boldly to tackle Lady Miranda in Lagos. But beyond that, because this is not something that must be, this cannot just be tailored strictly as a gender thing. No. But what we're saying here is that this is not different from what we have seen over the ages amongst ladies who share bedrooms of power. Whether you're talking of Mrs. You know who I'm talking of, Lady Patience Jonathan, who almost single-handedly weakened the leadership in Rivers State and installed Nyesom Wike, who has become a monster and an albatross on Nigerian political plane today, and so on and so forth. Even when the men wants to really brush off stuff on their ego, the ladies will call them inside. No, you can't take that. Some people have tried to disabuse our mind about such possibilities in the past, but we know some of us who came from a politically influential families or families that were involved politically, we know that that is not true. What is true is that some of these ladies have a way of manipulating their husbands and manipulating the system in order to score undue political advantage. I hope that is not what is playing out in Lagos. So if you have any further I mean,
That's an
any other
interesting
question?
that's an interesting take on it. There is, in fact, a report on Gazette Nigeria from January 29, about 3 weeks ago, that says First Lady of Nigeria Remi Tinubu has thrown her full weight behind impeached Lagos Speaker Mudashiru Obasa, shielding him from arrest and prosecution from EFCC agents who were ready to pounce on him upon his arrival in the country over a multi-billion naira fraud allegation. Presidency sources have told People's Gazette. The sources said the First Lady asked anti-graft agents to hold off on Mr. Obasa to avoid creating features within the ruling APC ranks in Lagos. EFCC sources previously told the Gazette how a heavy hammer was waiting to fall on Mr. Obasa given the compelling corruption case that was compiled against him. Yes.
In a situation or scenario where the rule of law strictly plays out, where it strictly applies, don't you think if this report by Gazette, and I have no doubt as a journalist to doubt what my colleagues report, people may plant falsehood through us at times, but we are not liars. We just go after the facts and report the facts that are given to us. Now, those facts may not speak to the truth, and they may as well speak to the truth. But what I'm saying here is that there is no reason for me, no basis for me to want to doubt what Gazette has reported here. And what I'm suspecting, in a decent climate, in a place where people are not operating by postmodernist standards of truth not being true, not being truth anymore, strictly, and people tell you that is the whole truth and not universal truth. You don't think Mrs. Tinubu...
That was shady, what you just said, but go ahead.
Yes, well, don't you think Mrs. Tinubu would have been guilty of obstruction of justice?
Are you saying you believe the People's Gazette of Nigeria?
I have no reason to doubt them. That's what I'm saying.
Are you saying you believe them?
Well, maybe another way of putting it would be what you have just said. But what I'm saying is I have no reason to doubt them. And in a saner place, Mrs. Tinubu would also be answerable for trying to obstruct justice the way she, has been alleged to have. This is what I'm saying. What is that? She is not the one. The last time I checked, she was not on the ballot with the husband, was she? She was not on the ballot with the husband. The husband was elected president. But like I told you, they operate like the Trumps of America. Nobody will rein her in. They will not. She's a mistress of power. She's a mistress of power. And so anything goes. Even things that are strictly none of her business suddenly becomes of interest to her. It suddenly attracts her business. There are things she has been doing that are really worthy of praises, worthy of being applauded. But in this one, I think she's gone too far. And Wale Soyinka that used to talk of, what is it? A mere appendage of whatever and whatever. I don't want to repeat those words that are so insensitive to the place of women. He is not speaking out now. Oga Kogi is not speaking out. That, what is it? Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, take care of Nigerian women, children, vulnerables through your non-for-profit initiatives, which are quite commendable. Leave
so in essence,
business of government to people that are elected to do that. And you don't meddle with investigations by security agents.
So in essence, there are interests beyond our full understanding and knowledge at this point. But we have no reason to doubt that report. I personally believe in that report, but we'll continue to follow it. Do us a favor, join the conversation in the comment section. We're watching everything, and we'll continue to bring trendy stories for you all around the world. Hit like, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified. Help us get to 1,000 followers. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers.
One thing we did not touch tonight is allegation by the cryptocurrency guy who said that Nuhu Ribadu's political machine was oiled while he was in detention and the altercation. Maybe we'll deal with that next week.
Maybe,
Yeah, God willing.
But
Yeah,
go ahead.
Former Senator Ben Murray Bruce has said that there is no chance on earth that Nuhu Ribadu would have demanded a bribe from those cryptocurrency guys. But those cryptocurrency guys are saying, in fact, Nigerian officials and elected National Assembly members, lawmakers, were demanding up to $150 million. You see, it looks like, it looks so improbable that, Nuhu Ribadu cannot do that. But from what we know about our land of birth, Nigeria, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Leave that
I'll
thing.
tell you, anything is possible. So to one of them, make all of us wonder that, it's a smear campaign. They are trying to do this to Nigeria, do that to Nigeria. Boldness. Let us continue to project our strength through our personal conduct and making sure that we do not do anything to run the nation aground and bring the entire race of Africans to shame. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Take care and God bless. Peace.